Domestic violence doesn't look like any person in particular. It can be anybody.
As an advocate coordinator, my job is to make sure that the advocates have everything they need to be successful in helping clients navigate from an abusive relationship out of that into a healthy relationship. Well, we want to ensure that we are doing no harm, that we are not making them relive the trauma or re-traumatizing them further.
So my experience with domestic violence goes back to my childhood, if we're going to be real. Like, that was the example I learned to live by. That was the normal I saw. And that was what I chose to replicate as I was in my 20s and early 30s. It was okay for somebody to have control over you, to manage your money, to tell you you weren't good enough, or to minimize your existence.
So basically, I teach all of my advocates to be curious and not assumptuous of clients. So to ask questions, to find out what they're comfortable with, what are their values, what are their beliefs, what are their goals. We do not push anything upon them. We do not try to steer them in any direction. I tell clients all the time, they have control of the steering wheel, the gas pedal, and the brake pedal. I'm just the fuel to get them there.
It's really hard to tell someone that's in an abusive situation that they're in an abusive situation. It's really hard to call that out because that is their normal and they do think, that person loves me. I think establishing relationships with people or just setting a foundation of care and trust is the only way, people can start to question, is this normal? Is this healthy? Is by somebody next to them walking and just asking them the questions, how does that make you feel when you're going through that? Is there anything you'd like to see different in your life?
Protection orders are huge. We often help with a lot of protection orders because that helps put legal protection between them and their perpetrator. It gives them a safe place legally where they don't have to be in fear of their perpetrator contacting them or coming to their home or entering their lives again. It gives them some space to process things without having that abuser dictate to them and control their moves. If they choose not to do a protection order or if they don't qualify for a protection order, shelter can be a really good place for them to go somewhere safe where they can think and process what's happening and start to make decisions for themselves.
Having the resources and asking for help or having someone to walk beside you and be that relational person in your life can be transformative. I mean, absolutely transformative. And that's what G.A.R.F does. They do transformative by providing the relational. There's never a bad time to ask for help. And I think it's also important to know that there's nothing to be ashamed about. We should be empowered to feel like we have the right to be whole, healthy, and happy and ask for help when we need it.
The first thing that we do is we listen. We listen to their story. We listen to how they're feeling, never judging. We believe them. We want to make them feel comfortable and trust us, so we work on building that trust. G.A.R.F has been making huge strides over the last year and a half. So we have a lot of community members that support us as well as other organizations, the city council, the county commissioners. So this is a great community and they do offer a lot of support for G.A.R.F.
So many people here do have that access to learn what healthy is, to fail, to succeed, to grow. Having someone such as an advocate at G.A.R.F, could have been instrumental in learning that a lot sooner. Everything that I was able to overcome and learn from was based on a relationship I built with somebody. It was based on establishing safety, based on learning what safety was, until you're completely on the other side and you're reflecting back on how much pain you were going through just by living what you thought was normal. And the struggle is what makes you come out on the other side and say, I will never be a victim again.